Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. One of the things I wanted to talk about, and I'd mentioned it before, alluding to feeding deer in the winter, but I've really thought of how much deer affect our life. And I'm going to mention a few things that I've noticed. Number one, of course, is we have to be careful every time we drive in this area because we have so many deer living with us that at certain times of the day they come out near the road to either travel back and forth to feeding grounds or they actually feed right alongside the road, and they become an incredible, not only traffic menace, but a danger to many people. So that's a really bad way that they affect us. There's other bad ways because deer carry ticks, and one of the most deadly tick of all are the Lyme disease ticks. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But the other thing is they affect us in really positive ways too. They become a part of our hunting culture, which is such a huge part of life up here. People just love to go deer hunting. And finally, they make great food. They really can affect our diet, not just if you go out and hunt and get them, but a lot of stores and a lot of restaurants serve venison in a lot of their foods. But let's go back to one of the things that I think is so critical, and that's having a better understanding of how ticks can affect us here and the fact that they're carried by deer. Now, deer carry more than just Lyme disease ticks. They carry bigger ticks that are called feds, and they aren't as harmful. But let's look at those ticks that are Lyme disease ticks. They're very tiny. They expand to many times their size once they bite you and start taking blood out of you. They just keep expanding, almost like blowing up. Now, one of the things that deer hunters have told me, and especially at the last sports show, they were talking about in Connecticut, and they said a lot of times after they shoot their deer and take it to be butchered, whether it's themselves or take it to a place, as the deer's body cools down, it reaches a temperature where the ticks just flock off the body. They almost like drop off in number because of the drop in temperature. But here's the other thing to be aware of. Ticks are drawn to carbon dioxide. That's what attacks them or attracts them to you. And even if hunters are up in a tree, they can sense that carbon dioxide from the ground and hop up and get on people's clothing. What some people use is dry ice under them when they're butchering the deer. And the reason is it's the carbon dioxide on the dry ice. It really, it just attracts deer like, I guess, a honey to bear or something like that. It's really a big deal. But I think it's really critical also that we understand that the ticks that carry Lyme disease can be lethal to us. And a lot of times you don't even feel them biting you. It's really critical that you inspect your body. They don't die in the winter. They may bury underneath, and then the first signs of spring, there may be great infestations of ticks. These Lyme disease ticks, even though they're carried by the deer don't come down with Lyme disease. And a final thing that you should be aware of, with all these awful things I'm talking about, what ticks can do, is that if you're eating venison, Lyme disease isn't spread in the venison. You're not going to catch Lyme disease at all. It's not in the meat of the deer. So a few things to mention about deer, because every day I'm driving, I'm thinking about these deer. I'm thinking about what they bring to our area, the fact that I've got to be watching out for them. I'm thinking of how they're a reflection to me of even what fishing can be. Because you might notice, if you have a lot of deer around you, that after a severe change in weather, a lot of times you won't see a thing. It's not like they're going to come out after the weather passes. They may be affected for some time, and you'll notice that you don't see any animals around doing anything for a while. And then you'll see maybe a warming up or a lack of severe wind or something, and you'll notice the deer have come out again. And it's the same thing that I noticed with fishing. Fish are reacting the same ways to changes in the environment around them. And a lot of times, if we watch how the animals react, we're going to know more about what to expect the way the fish are either going to bite that day or they're going to seem dormant. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.